Hello everyone, welcome back to Airlines Quest. In this video, we're diving deep into the recent announcement from the Biden administration regarding new airline refund rules and passenger protections. As much as we all love to travel, dealing with flight delays, cancellations, and shady fees can really put a damper on the whole experience. Well, the Department of Transportation is looking to crack down on some of the major pain points with a set of new regulations they call the Airline Passenger Bill of Rights. At the heart of these new rules is a requirement for airlines to provide automatic refunds in a variety of situations where they failed to deliver the service you paid for. No more having to jump through hoops and beg for your money back. So let's break down exactly what these rules entail, how they'll be enforced, and what the airlines themselves have to say about it all. Okay, here are the key situations where airlines will now be required to automatically issue a full refund, no questions asked. 1. Flight delays and cancellations. If your flight is delayed at least 3 hours for domestic or 6 hours for international, you get an automatic refund. Same goes for any flat-out cancellation. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Weather, mechanical issues, staffing shortages. If there's a significant delay, that money is coming back to you. 2. Itinerary changes. Let's say the airline switches your departure or arrival airport, adds extra connections, or pulls a classic bait and switch by downgrading you to a lower cabin class. Any major shakeup to your paid itinerary qualifies for an automatic refund. 3. Baggage and service failures. This one is huge. If your checked bags are significantly delayed in arriving at your destination, you get refunded the baggage fees. Same applies if any paid extras like premium seat assignments, Wi-Fi, or other ancillary services aren't actually provided during your flight. 4. Disability accommodation issues. For passengers with disabilities, you're eligible for a refund if your rebooked itinerary has reduced accessibility at connection points, or if the plane itself is less accessible than the one you originally paid for. Here's the best part. These automatic refund requirements apply to all travelers, regardless of what fare class you booked. No more of this basic economy nonsense where airlines try to wiggle out of refunds. The only scenario where you wouldn't qualify is if the airline is able to rebook you on an alternate itinerary after the initial delay or cancellation. Of course, if that new routing doesn't work for your schedule, you can still request a full refund instead. Now, you're probably wondering, sure, these all sound like nice ideas, but how will they actually be enforced? Well, the Department of Transportation isn't messing around. The new refund rules will start being implemented over the next 6 months. After that, any airline found in violation could face fines of up to $41,577 per passenger affected. That's a pretty hefty incentive to play by the rules. The DOT plans to monitor airline compliance through its own investigations and audits of airline websites, marketing materials, operations at airports, and more. But perhaps most importantly, they'll also be reviewing passenger complaints submitted directly to them. So folks, if an airline tries to deny you a legitimate refund under these new rules, you'll want to file an official complaint with the DOT. Hit them where it hurts, their wallets. Of course, we can't have a conversation about increased passenger rights without hearing the airline industry's objections. The major U.S. carriers have been pushing back hard against these refund requirements. The big argument from airline CEOs is that there are too many gray areas and factors outside their control, like air traffic control issues and weather events. Their trade group, Airlines for America, has been lobbing shots left and right, claiming these rules will reduce choice and competition while driving up costs. To be fair, they raise some valid points. Unexpected, uncontrollable events like thunderstorms and understaffed air traffic control facilities are indeed a major culprit behind delays and cancellations these days. But let's be real. The lack of regulatory teeth is what's allowed airlines to adopt increasingly consumer-unfriendly policies like restrictive basic economy fares and shameless nickel and diming for every minor amenity and service. At the end of the day, paying customers deserve transparency and automatic refunds when they don't get the transportation service they were promised, regardless of the reasons behind it. This ruling is a massive win for passenger rights. As travel enthusiasts who have been burned by airline nonsense more times than we can count, we're celebrating these new DOT refund regulations. It's a long overdue rebalancing of power after years of airlines treating paying customers as hostages. That said, we know there are valid concerns on both sides of the aisle here. Unforeseen events, like bad weather, will sometimes cause unavoidable delays and cancellations. In those cases, it feels reasonable for DOT to allow airlines a bit more flexibility rather than requiring immediate refunds. Perhaps a compromise would be an initial credit for future travel, which can then be converted to a refund after a certain period if the passenger chooses. That way, the airline still has an incentive to accommodate and rebook wherever possible, while passengers maintain the power to get their money back. Additionally, these rules shouldn't be completely one-size-fits-all. Refunds could be prorated or reduced for relatively minor delays and service hiccups, rather than being all or nothing. Some nuance may be required for niche situations. At the end of the day, though, we firmly believe erring on the side of passenger rights and consumer protection is the right move. For too long, airlines have stretched the definition of uncontrollable circumstances to avoid issuing refunds in even the most egregious cases. This new passenger Bill of Rights feels like a solid first step towards restoring some balance and accountability in airline traveler transactions. Bravo, DOT! Just be sure to back it up with strict oversight and enforcement. Let us know your thoughts on these refund rule changes down in the comments. As always, safe travels and make sure to smash that like button if you found this video helpful.